The integration of new technology into the educational system has the potential to personalize the education for each student and to provide opportunities for more in-depth learning. In this presentation, I will highlight two examples of ways that technology can be used collaboratively and in an effective way: personalized learning experiences and the flipped classroom approach. Evans, 2012, explains the need for personalized learning. Our current educational system was designed to standardize the way we teach and test in order to provide workers for industrial jobs. Now that our global culture calls for more specialized skills, the one-size-fits-all system is inadequate. Since each learner has unique experiences, background knowledge, strengths, and weaknesses, we need an education system that can customize to individuals so that each student can realize her fullest potential. Evan points out that online learning holds the key to this transformation to personalized learning. Personalized learning can be done effectively using a blended learning model where online education is combined with a face-to-face classroom experience. As education exceeds the boundaries of classroom walls, a student's educational experience then becomes a collaboration between parents at home, teachers at school, and others in the community who may offer expertise in a particular field that a student may be interested in pursuing. One finding from Evans' research is that the transformation to a personalized learning environment is easier for new organizations to implement than for older ones who are more entrenched in a traditional school model. Evans also highlights the changing role of the teacher in a personalized blended approach. There may be a variety of teachers, some who are content experts, others who are mentors or learning coaches, and still others who are non-academic mentors. I would add that parents' skills could be very valuable in a personalized approach since they do know their children best. As more and more districts are moving toward a competency-based system that measures student progress based on actual mastery of learning objectives, personalized learning will be key to measuring the individual success of each learner. Interestingly, Evans suggests the idea that various online curriculum providers could be motivated to provide a higher standard of products if they were motivated by incentives based on student achievement of personalized learning goals. Cynthia Brame, the Assistant Director for the Center of Teaching at Vanderbilt, describes the beginning step toward personalized learning environments by utilizing a concept called flipping the classroom. In a flipped classroom approach, a student is first exposed to new material prior to class via various methods, most of which include technology, and is also given an assignment to complete in order to be prepared to apply and synthesize this new knowledge during class time. Some examples of prior learning activities include lecture videos, PowerPoint presentations with voiceover, as well as textbook and online journal readings. Students would then produce work such as essays, short online quizzes, and blog entries based on the information presented in order to prepare for class. Instructors can then access these student assessments to see that class activities are in line with the students' needs. Since students are essentially front-loaded with background knowledge about the topic for class, class time can then be spent doing the harder work of assimilating the knowledge, perhaps through debates, mini lectures, task-oriented problem solving, or small group discussions. Brame 2013 also describes scenarios where teachers can pose conceptual questions during the classroom component of the flipped classroom. Instead of one impromptu person answering the question, everyone responds via their own clicker. The data can then be collected and displayed immediately, so if a large percentage of the class answers incorrectly, the students can reconsider the question in small groups, while the instructor provides feedback. Kahn, 2012, points out that the computer-based lessons free up valuable class time that would otherwise be spent on broadcast lectures, a model where students generally sit blankly with no effective way for teachers to appraise who's getting it and who's not. By contrast, when the students have done the lessons before the interaction, then there's actually something great to talk about. In an Education Week article entitled Lectures Are Homework in Schools, following Khan Academy lead, Sarah Sparks points out that in using the flipped classroom approach, student engagement and accountability are critical because the format requires students to commit to doing a lot more work on their own. Kathy Nolan, my field educator, is a former classroom teacher, school administrator, and currently serves as the curriculum director for our local school district. Kathy spoke with me about the topics of personalized learning, the flipped classroom approach, as well as some additional ways that she sees technology being utilized effectively here in our school district. Today we're going to be discussing the possibilities that technology has to provide collaboration in education between various people, including classroom teachers and students and parents. The idea of creating a personalized learning environment for each, or experience for each student. Do you have any thoughts about how that could be utilized with students here?
A couple of drivers happening right now in Vermont that are going to prove that this is a really important idea for us.
Mm-hmm.
One is that we have, by law, in 2015, by the beginning of school, 2015, so that's next August, we have to have personalized learning plans in place for each child.
Wow.
Oh no, each child in 7th grade and 9th grade. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. So personalized learning plans for each 7th grader and each 9th grader by August of next year. And what that means is that, well, first of all, the child develops the plan with an adult under the guidance of an educator, a teacher, a guidance counselor, and their parent is always part of it. So it's more of a holistic plan. We need to take into account the child's strengths and weaknesses and their interests and their likes, and so it almost demands that kids look a little bit into careers and what kind of career they might be interested in. For sure we know that kids are going to be changing careers often, but we can probably find out if they like to work outdoors, do they work in a city, that kind of thing. What are their general likes and dislikes? So that means there's got to be some career exploration going on there, and there's got to be some learning about how do I get myself ready for that career.
Right.
So it's really clear to me that in the next few years, things are going to, the 7 through 12 setup is going to have to change pretty starkly.
Yes. There also seems to be a growing interest in the concept of flipping the classroom, where students watch, say, a web-based video at home that teaches the content, and then spend their time in the classroom discussing and applying that content. What are your thoughts about that idea?
I think it's a really interesting idea. I think it's fascinating, actually, to kind of think about doing things that way. The traditional classroom has sort of done that, first we learn the stuff together, and then you go off and you apply it on your own. Right. And then you might come back and, have further extensions, discussions, that kind of thing. That hasn't been too successful because the going out and doing it on your own piece sometimes doesn't happen. I think that in our area we would run up against a geography problem because we simply don't have the internet access that we would need to have to do that, a flipped classroom on a regular basis. Many families don't have internet, or they might have dial-up, and that's too slow to really do anything. And so I think that in our geographical area, for sure, we're not quite ready to try that out, or to embrace it wholly, I guess. I think we could try it out, but I don't think we could embrace it wholly. So I think, we need to develop that. A lot remains to be seen about it.
Can you give me some examples of ways that you've seen technology be used successfully here in our area in northern Vermont?
So I want to highlight two examples that I know of in classrooms. These are classroom examples. So the first one is a physical education class at the junior high school. They have students wear heart monitors, and then each student is given a heart monitor at the beginning of the semester or quarter, and that heart monitor is theirs for the quarter, and they have an account that it links into, and they wear it every day. They find their, I think it's called their resting heart rate, and then they find their like 75% heart rate or 80% of maximum. So it's the resting, the maximum, and then that working zone. And the kids are given a target, and they wear the heart rate through the whole class, heart rate monitor through the whole class, and then they check and see how, if they get their heart rate up that fast, or how many minutes it stays up that fast, and they each have a goal. So it's an individualized goal that the kids have. And the kids love it. They get instant feedback from this monitor that they wear. Interestingly enough, though, the teachers, when they first started using them, the teachers were sure that the kids who were good athletes would have no problem. They would be, they'd have no problem working up to that 80% rate. They'd latch on to them right away. And the opposite was actually true, because the athletic kids, it was always easy for them to do well. And they had to actually put some effort into into boosting their heart rate. And the kids who had to work really hard, the unathletic kids, the kids who, struggle with coordination and just struggle with moving easily, they had some success because they could reach their goals. So it was very interesting, and it was interesting for me to hear the PE teachers talk about it and how their perception just changed. And I think data can do that for us if we let it. If we can, our perception can change. So the other example is more of an academic example. It's a science classroom. I think they're 5th graders or 6th graders, but the teacher has been using EDU 2.0, which is an online, I think it's called a learning management system, an online learning management system. Kids have little netbooks, which are just little devices. They stay in the classroom, and his goal is to run a paperless classroom. And he has for 2 years now. All the quizzes and tests and worksheets and notes and projects, they're all online, and the kids can access them when it's the appropriate time. The child's work stays online, so parents can actually see the quality of their child's work, which is, I think, really nice. It's really important to be able to do that, I think. The kids like it a lot. There's no more, disorganization. You know how that 5th grade, it's like some kids are all ready and they're moving, and then some are, you kind of think, oh my goodness, they'll never find anything. But yeah, so it kind of evens that out, and they seem to be able to spend more time doing things that are like experiments and application kinds of things in their science class. So they're liking it.
And is that teacher able to communicate with the parents using that tool?
He can.
Yes.
Yep, he can. He can, interestingly enough, he asks parents to check the account regularly and to check their kids' work regularly. And when they come in and for parent conferences, he talks to them as if they had checked it. And, they say, oh yeah, we're on there every week. But I guess the data doesn't quite show that many parents actually go on there every week. So, but we're rural. Maybe all kids can't, maybe all parents can't get there. The other thing I do want to talk about is that we're beginning to use Google Tools for Schools to increase collaboration between teachers. So I know Google just came out with a new classroom feature, and some teachers are experimenting with that, but we're using the Tools for Schools to do, teachers are using it to do websites for their classroom, like a classroom website. But you can also build documents and share it between collaborating teachers who are even in different buildings, or even they can be in the same building or different buildings. They can, add resources to it. So we have many schools that are kind of small and have like only one grade level teacher or only one language arts teacher. So
Right.
those teachers can collaborate with a teacher from another school. And it just makes it a little bit richer experience. So
And have you needed to provide professional development to the teachers?
we've had a course, Google Tools for Schools, a couple of years in a row. That's a 3-credit course. Then we also do an educational technology course through Hugh Hanley does those. Everybody loves them. So that's through Linden State. And then we also do some workshops too. So if you can't take the full 3-credit course, you can take a couple hours here and there on, on using these tools. So the one other thing that we're trying to use administratively at least, is the, what's it called? It's not Skype, video conferencing. So we all have video conferencing equipment in our schools. Every school has some, and so rather than drive like 40 miles, you can easily drive 40 miles to a school. We video conference and maybe have a little meeting or solve a problem that way, as opposed to taking the time to drive back and that. So that we're beginning to use more and more of that. It's it's a leap. We have to grow into it.
Definitely. I have 3 goals for myself as a result of this field-based activity. First, as Evans 2012 points out, there are more and more incentives for companies to produce high-quality online education platforms that will personalize each student's learning. My goal as a future coordinator of a homeschool collaborative is to research the currently available online platforms for personalized learning experiences to see which ones would support homeschooling families and allow them to come together more collaboratively. As Evans also points out, as a new organization, we have more freedom to explore all of the personalized learning options available to us and to choose the one that fits best the needs of our families. Secondly, according to Brain 2013, the in-class component of the flipped classroom focuses on conceptual understanding and deeper thinking activities. I would like to research the most effective small group strategies, especially for multi-age groups. I'm also interested in finding out about the clicker technology that Brain refers to and how that can be incorporated into the flipped classroom. Finally, as Kathy Nolan mentioned, it is a significant challenge to obtain internet access in some areas here in northern Vermont. My third goal is to research the necessary steps to make the online learning available to all students here in rural northern Vermont who may wish to enroll in a homeschool collaborative and would require online access in their homes. Thank you for watching my presentation on how to incorporate technology effectively for a personalized learning experience.